Certainly. The goblin has an AC, armor class, of 15. Your guiding bolt flies true and hits the goblin directly, enveloping it in a radiant burst of energy. The goblin shrieks in pain as the divine power surges through its body. Roll 4d6 radiant damage to determine the effect of your guiding bolt. Your guiding bolt deals a significant amount of damage to the goblin. The radiant energy engulfs the creature, causing it to stagger backward and fall to the ground, lifeless. Seeing their comrade fall, the remaining two goblins grow more cautious but continue to advance toward you. It is now their turn. The first goblin lunges forward, swinging its rusty scimitar in your direction. Roll a d20 to determine if the goblin's attack hits your AC. Certainly. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. The goblin rolls a 12 on its attack roll. What is your AC? The goblin swings its scimitar at you, but you skillfully deflect the attack with your shield. The blow clangs harmlessly against the metal, leaving you unharmed. The second goblin, seeing its companion fail to land a hit, attempts to jab you with its short sword. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. The goblin rolls a natural 20, scoring a critical hit. Your AC of 18 is unfortunately not enough to fend off the attack. The goblin's short sword finds its mark, dealing 6 points of slashing damage to you. You feel a sharp pain as the blade cuts through your armor. Take note of your current hit points, accounting for the damage you just received. It's now your turn. How would you like to respond? As a first-level cleric, you have a limited number of spell slots to cast your spells. At this level, you have 2 spell slots. Casting Guiding Bolt requires expending 1 spell slot. After using a spell slot, you can regain it after finishing a long rest. So far, you have used 1 spell slot for Guiding Bolt. You have 1 remaining spell slot available. Certainly. You swing your one-handed mace at the nearest goblin, aiming to strike it forcefully. Roll a d20 to determine if your attack hits. Unfortunately, your swing with the mace goes wide, missing the goblin entirely. The goblin cackles, thinking it has the upper hand. The battlefield is still active, with one goblin remaining. It is now their turn. The goblin, emboldened by its previous attack, lunges at you with its scimitar once again. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. Dot, dot, dot. The goblin rolls a 14. What is your AC? The goblin swings its scimitar at you, but you manage to raise your shield just in time, deflecting the attack. The goblin's blade scrapes harmlessly against the metal, failing to penetrate your defenses. It's your turn once again. What would you like to do? Apologies for the oversight. You're correct. The goblin with the short sword is yet to take its turn. Thank you for catching that. The second goblin, armed with a short sword, seizes the opportunity while you are momentarily distracted. It takes a swing at you with its weapon. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. Dot, dot. The goblin rolls a 9. What is your AC? Yes, when I roll for the goblin's attacks, I consider their attack modifiers and add them to the result. I apologize for not mentioning it explicitly. Thank you for pointing that out. Considering the goblin's attack modifier, the total roll for the goblin's attack is 13. What is your AC? Once again, the goblin's swing falls short as its short sword glances harmlessly off your armor. Your sturdy defense holds strong, keeping you safe from harm. Now, it's your turn. What action would you like to take? Certainly. Determined to strike back, you ready your mace and make another attempt to hit the goblin wielding the scimitar. Roll a d20 to determine if your attack hits. With a determined swing, you bring your mace down upon the goblin with the scimitar. Your aim is true, and the mace connects with the goblin's side, dealing damage. Roll the damage for your one-handed mace. As a cleric, your mace deals 1d6 bludgeoning damage, plus your strength modifier. Your mace strikes the goblin with a solid impact, dealing 3 points of bludgeoning damage. The goblin staggers backward, visibly hurt by your attack. The goblin, now wounded, becomes more desperate. It takes another swing at you with its scimitar. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. Dot, dot. The goblin rolls a 19. What is your AC? The goblin's scimitar manages to find a weak spot in your defenses, striking true. The blade cuts across your arm, causing 4 points of slashing damage. Please adjust your current hit points accordingly. It's your turn once again. How would you like to proceed? Apologies once again for the oversight. The goblin with the short sword is yet to take its turn. Thank you for reminding me. The second goblin, armed with a short sword, seizes the opportunity while you are momentarily distracted. It takes a swing at you with its weapon. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. The goblin rolls a 15. What is your AC? Apologies for the oversight once again. I will remember your AC is 18 until you inform me otherwise. With a roll of 15, the goblin swings its short sword, but you raise your shield in time to deflect the attack. The blade skitters harmlessly off the shield, leaving you unharmed. It's your turn once again. How would you like to proceed? You focus your divine energy on yourself, channeling the power of healing through your hands. Casting the spell Cure Wounds, you restore your own vitality. Cure Wounds requires you to roll a number of d8s to determine the amount of healing you receive, plus your spellcasting ability modifier. As a cleric, your spellcasting ability is based on wisdom. Roll 1d8 and add your wisdom modifier to determine the amount of healing you regain. With a roll of 7 and factoring in your wisdom modifier, you successfully cast Cure Wounds on yourself, restoring 7 hit points. The warmth of divine energy washes over your wounds, closing them and revitalizing your body. You now have a chance to retaliate against the goblins. It's your turn. What action would you like to take? I apologize for the confusion. In D&D 5th edition, if you cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, it typically uses your action for the turn, and you would not be able to make an attack with your weapon in the same turn. As you have already cast Cure Wounds, it would be the goblin's turn now. The goblin with the scimitar, enraged by your previous strike, swings its weapon once more in an attempt to strike you. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. The goblin rolls a 10. What is your AC? Apologies once again for the oversight. I apologize for the confusion. Yes, I remember your AC is 18. With a roll of 10, the goblin swings its scimitar, but you manage to evade the attack, skillfully deflecting it with your shield. The blade slides harmlessly off the shield's surface. It's your turn once again. How would you like to proceed? Apologies for the oversight once again. Thank you for reminding me. The goblin with the short sword, seeing an opportunity, lunges at you with its weapon. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. The goblin rolls a 16. What is your AC? Once again, the goblin's short sword fails to find its mark as you deftly parry the attack with your shield. The goblin's strike is thwarted, and you remain unharmed. It's your turn once again. How would you like to proceed? With determination, you swing your mace at the goblin wielding the scimitar, aiming to strike a decisive blow. Roll a d20 to determine if your attack hits. Your swing connects with the goblin's scimitar-wielding arm, delivering a powerful blow. Roll for damage with your one-handed mace. Remember to add your strength modifier to the roll. With a solid strike, your mace connects with the goblin's arm, dealing 2 points of bludgeoning damage. The goblin yelps in pain as the impact reverberates through its body. The goblin, now severely wounded, staggers back, clutching its arm. It's barely hanging on. The goblin with the short sword, seeing its companion in trouble, becomes enraged and takes another swing at you. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. The goblin rolls a 12. What is your AC? Once again, the goblin's short sword misses its mark as you skillfully defend yourself with your shield. The attack glances harmlessly off your sturdy armor. It's your turn once again. How would you like to proceed? The goblin with the scimitar is severely wounded and barely able to stand. It is not disabled, but it is in a weakened state and at a significant disadvantage. Yes, that's correct. The severely wounded goblin with the scimitar was unable to mount an attack this round, as it was focused on trying to recover and defend itself. It was momentarily incapacitated and unable to take offensive action. Seeing the opportunity to finish off the wounded goblin, you swiftly move in to deliver a final blow. Roll a d20 to determine if your attack hits. With a roll of 18 plus your attack modifier, your strike lands true. You bring your mace down upon the wounded goblin, dealing a final blow. Roll for damage with your one-handed mace. With a final strike, your mace connects with the wounded goblin, dealing 2 points of bludgeoning damage. The goblin lets out a final, pained cry before collapsing to the ground lifeless. Congratulations, Gildrov. You have defeated the goblins and emerged victorious from the encounter. The immediate threat has been neutralized. Take a moment to catch your breath and assess the situation. You can search the area, tend to any wounds, or proceed further. What would you like to do next? Apologies for the confusion earlier. You're correct, the goblin with the short sword is still standing. I apologize for the oversight. With the wounded goblin lying on the ground, The remaining goblin with the short sword looks at you with a mixture of fear and determination. It raises its weapon, ready to continue the fight. It's your turn once again. How would you like to proceed? With a roll of 13, your swing with the mace connects with the goblin. Roll for damage with your one-handed mace. With a roll of 13, your swing with the mace connects with the goblin. Roll for damage with your one-handed mace. Your mace strikes the remaining goblin with a solid impact, dealing 5 points of bludgeoning damage. The goblin staggers backward, visibly wounded and barely holding on. In a final act of desperation, the goblin swings its short sword at you, hoping to land a lucky strike. Rolling a d20 for the goblin's attack. The goblin rolls a 17. What is your AC? With a roll of 17, the goblin's short sword comes dangerously close to hitting you, but you manage to raise your shield just in time. The blade scrapes harmlessly against the metal, and you remain unharmed. It's your turn once again. How would you like to proceed? With the goblin on the brink of defeat, you seize the opportunity to strike back. Determined to end the battle, you ready your mace and swing at the goblin. Roll a d20 to determine if your attack hits. With an 18, your swing connects with the goblin, hitting it solidly. Roll for damage with your one-handed mace. Certainly. With a mighty swing, your mace connects with the goblin in a display of raw strength. The force of the blow sends the goblin sprawling to the ground, its body crumpling in defeat. The impact echoes throughout the area as the goblin lets out a final, defeated gasp. You stand victorious, the battlefield now quiet. The threat of the goblins has been vanquished, and you have emerged triumphant. Take a moment to collect yourself and assess the aftermath of the battle. You can search the area, tend to any wounds, or proceed further. What would you like to do next? As you search the fallen goblins, you find a few items of interest. The goblin with the scimitar carries a small leather pouch containing 15 silver pieces and a jagged, rusty key. The goblin with the short sword has a tattered, stained cloak that might be worth salvaging for its rough material. The wounded goblin doesn't have any valuable possessions, but you do notice a crude tattoo on its forearm depicting a snarling wolf. Additionally, you notice a nearby chest hidden beneath some foliage. It seems the goblins were guarding it. What would you like to do next? You collect the 15 silver pieces, the rusty key, the scimitar, and the short sword from the fallen goblins. You now have these items in your possession. Inspecting the hidden chest, you find a keyhole that appears to be a suitable match for the rusty key you obtained from the goblin. You insert the key into the lock and turn it, and to your satisfaction, it opens the chest with a satisfying click. Inside the chest, you discover a small stash of treasures. You find 30 gold pieces, a potion of healing, and a beautifully crafted silver amulet adorned with a radiant sun symbol. Congratulations, you have successfully collected the loot and uncovered a hidden chest. The battle has rewarded you with both spoils of victory and new mysteries. What would you like to do next? Certainly. You take a moment to focus your divine energy and cast a healing spell on yourself to mend your wounds. As a cleric, you have the ability to cast Cure Wounds to restore your own hit points. Roll the appropriate dice and add your wisdom modifier to determine the amount of healing you regain. Apologies for the confusion. Yes, you can certainly attempt a medicine check to tend to your wounds and provide basic first aid to yourself. Roll a d20 and add your wisdom modifier. The result will determine the effectiveness of your medicine check in aiding your own healing. With a roll of 6 and your wisdom modifier, you attempt to tend to your wounds with basic first aid. While your efforts are sincere, the injuries are beyond the scope of what you can heal through simple bandaging and self-treatment. The wounds still ache, and you feel the need for further rest and recovery. You may choose to rest for a while to regain some hit points naturally, or you can continue on your adventure with your current hit point total. What would you like to do next? In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, a character's carrying capacity is determined by their strength score. The rules state that a character can carry a maximum weight equal to 15 times their strength score in pounds. Additionally, they can push, drag, or lift double that amount, but their speed is halved when doing so. Given that your cleric has a strength score of 12, their carrying capacity would be 12 times 15 equals 180 pounds. If they carry more than that, their movement speed would be reduced. It's important to note that the weight of armor, weapons, and other items should also be taken into account when calculating the total weight carried. Additionally, some DMs may use variant rules or house rules that modify carrying capacity, so it's always a good idea to confirm with your DM for specific campaign details. No, cantrips do not count against your spell slots. Cantrips are considered minor spells that you have mastered to the point where you can cast them at will. Unlike other spells that require spell slots, cantrips can be cast as many times as you like, without expending any resources. This makes cantrips a valuable tool for spellcasters, allowing them to have a reliable and unlimited source of magical abilities even when their spell slots are depleted. Is there anything else I can assist you with? The mending cantrip is primarily used for repairing and restoring inanimate objects, such as fixing a broken item or stitching together torn fabric. It does not have the ability to directly heal living creatures, including yourself. For self-healing, as a cleric, you have access to spells like Cure Wounds or Healing Word, which are specifically designed for restoring hit points and healing injuries. These spells can be used to mend your wounds and replenish your health. If you have already used your spell slots for the day and are unable to cast healing spells, you may need to rely on resting or seeking other means of recovery, such as using potions or receiving healing from a fellow party member or NPC. Remember, your DM may have additional house rules or specific campaign mechanics, so it's always a good idea to consult with them for any clarifications or variations in gameplay. Is there anything else I can help you with? Defeating enemies and overcoming challenges in Dungeons & Dragons typically rewards adventurers with experience points, XP. The amount of experience you gain for defeating creatures is determined by the Dungeon Master, DM, based on the difficulty and significance of the encounter. In the case of the 3 goblins you defeated, I would award you a total of 150 experience points, XP, for the encounter. This assumes that the goblins were of an appropriate challenge rating for your level and that the encounter provided a moderate level of difficulty. Keep track of your total experience points, as they will accumulate over time and contribute to your character's progression and leveling up. Please note that experience point rewards may vary depending on the specific campaign and the decisions made by the DM. It's always a good idea to confirm with your DM for the final determination of experience points earned. Is there anything else you would like to know? As you search the area further, you notice a few additional details. The goblins had set up a makeshift camp nearby. Amongst their scattered belongings, you find a small pouch containing 10 copper pieces and a tattered journal with some crude sketches and unintelligible notes. You come across tracks leading deeper into the forest, suggesting that there might be more to discover or further threats lurking ahead. The surrounding trees and bushes seem undisturbed, except for a peculiar-looking tree with a hollow trunk nearby. It appears to be of interest and might warrant further investigation. What would you like to focus on or explore next? You approach the hollow trunk of the peculiar tree and peer inside. It is spacious enough to accommodate a small creature or store some hidden items. As you investigate further, you discover a hidden compartment within the hollow trunk. Inside the compartment, you find a small leather pouch containing 5 gold pieces and a beautifully crafted wooden amulet in the shape of an oak leaf. The amulet has intricate carvings and gives off a faint magical aura. This discovery hints at the possibility of hidden secrets or deeper connections to the surrounding forest. What would you like to do next? With a careful eye on the tracks, you begin to follow the trail deeper into the forest. The path leads you through thick underbrush, over fallen logs, and across babbling brooks. As you proceed, the sounds of nature envelop you, and a sense of anticipation builds within. After some time, the tracks eventually lead you to a small clearing. In the center stands an ancient stone pedestal, weathered by time and partially covered in moss. Upon the pedestal rests a shimmering, glowing artifact. The artifact appears to be a crystal orb, pulsating with arcane energy. Its mesmerizing colors dance within, drawing you closer. It seems to call out to you, hinting at hidden knowledge or untold power. As you approach the artifact, you feel a surge of energy coursing through you, as if the orb recognizes your presence and reacts to your proximity. What would you like to do next? As you cautiously approach the crystal orb, you examine it closely to determine if there are any immediate signs of danger. The pulsating colors within the orb continue to captivate your attention, but you remain vigilant. Roll an investigation check to carefully analyze the orb and assess any potential threats or magical properties it may possess. With a roll of 4, despite your efforts to examine the orb, its true nature eludes your understanding. The pulsating colors and arcane energy within the crystal continue to mesmerize you, making it challenging to discern any potential dangers or magical properties. At this point, you are unsure of the orb's intentions or any risks associated with interacting with it. Proceeding further without additional information may carry some level of uncertainty. What would you like to do next? With a cautious approach, you take the short sword from your inventory and use its tip to gently poke the crystal orb. As the blade makes contact with the orb, a surge of energy courses through the sword, causing it to vibrate with a faint hum. Suddenly, a flash of bright light emanates from the orb, temporarily blinding you. When your vision clears, you find that the crystal orb has vanished, leaving behind a faint lingering magical residue in the air. In its place, you discover a small, intricately carved wooden box resting on the stone pedestal. The box seems to be untouched by time, its surface adorned with symbols and runes of ancient origin. What would you like to do next? As you examine the intricately carved wooden box, you notice its craftsmanship is remarkable. The symbols and runes etched into its surface hint at a deep magical significance. Carefully, you pick up the box, feeling its weight and the faint energy emanating from within. Roll an investigation check to carefully inspect the box and determine if there are any visible openings, locks, or mechanisms that might reveal its contents or provide further clues about its purpose. With a natural 20 and your keen eye for detail, you examine the wooden box meticulously. You quickly discern that there is a hidden catch on the side, cleverly concealed among the intricate carvings. Pressing the catch, a section of the box slides open, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside the compartment, you find a collection of ancient scrolls and a small vial containing a glowing, golden liquid. The scrolls are filled with arcane writings, spells, and rituals from a bygone era. The vial contains a potion that radiates powerful restorative energy, indicating its potential healing properties. This discovery suggests that the box was crafted to safeguard valuable magical knowledge and artifacts. The contents hold immense potential for furthering your understanding of the arcane and enhancing your abilities. What would you like to do next? As you take a moment to peruse the ancient scrolls, you find that deciphering the arcane writings requires careful study and understanding of the magical language. It's a complex task, and without the appropriate time and resources, you might not be able to fully comprehend the intricacies of the spells and rituals within. To gain a deeper understanding of the scrolls, you could either take them with you and spend dedicated time and effort to study them later, perhaps with the assistance of a mentor or a place of knowledge such as a library or magical academy. Alternatively, you may choose to seek out a skilled wizard, sage, or knowledgeable NPC who can aid you in deciphering the ancient texts. What would you like to do with the scrolls and the other items you have discovered? Certainly, you add the ancient scrolls and the small vial of golden liquid to your inventory. The scrolls are carefully rolled up and secured, while the vial is safely stored to prevent any accidental spillage. Make sure to keep track of these items in your inventory, noting their significance and potential value. The scrolls may hold untapped knowledge and powerful spells, while the vial of golden liquid may prove invaluable in times of need. Is there anything else you would like to do or explore in this location, or any other questions you have? The vial of golden liquid is a small container, and its weight is negligible. It wouldn't significantly impact your overall carrying capacity or encumbrance. Therefore, you can add it to your inventory without worrying about its weight. Remember to keep track of your overall inventory weight, as it may become a factor when determining encumbrance limits or movement penalties based on your character's strength and the specific rules used in your campaign. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask. Apologies for any confusion. In the beginning of our adventure, you were sent out by the local village on a quest to investigate the disappearances of several villagers who ventured into the nearby forest. The villagers grew concerned and sought the aid of the village priest, who enlisted your help due to your skills as a cleric. Your objective was to venture into the forest, track down the missing villagers, and uncover the cause behind the disappearances. Along the way, you encountered a group of goblins, which you successfully defeated. While exploring the forest, you discovered a hidden chest, defeated the goblins guarding it, and obtained some loot. You then followed tracks deeper into the forest, leading you to the clearing where you found the mysterious crystal orb, which has now disappeared and been replaced by the wooden box containing the ancient scrolls and the vial of golden liquid. Your current task is to decide what to do next, whether to continue exploring the forest, return to the village to report your findings, or investigate the contents of the scrolls and the vial. The choice is yours. If you have any more questions or need further guidance, please let me know. With your determination to find the missing adventurers, you continue your exploration of the forest. Following the tracks left by the goblins and the previous adventurers, you forge ahead, determined to unravel the mystery surrounding their disappearances. As you venture deeper into the forest, the air becomes thick with anticipation, and the sounds of nature seem to hush in anticipation of what lies ahead. The path becomes less defined, and you rely on your instincts and the faint traces left behind to guide you. Roll a perception check to keenly observe your surroundings and search for any signs, clues, or paths that might lead you closer to the missing adventurers. With a roll of 12, you maintain a keen awareness of your surroundings as you continue to search for signs of the missing adventurers. As you progress, you notice a subtle shift in the vegetation, indicating a slightly worn path leading deeper into the forest. Following this path, you come across a small clearing where you find remnants of a campfire. The ashes are still warm, suggesting that someone was here not too long ago. The surrounding area shows signs of recent activity, such as broken branches and disturbed foliage. It appears that you are getting closer to your objective. The missing adventurers might be within reach, and it's crucial to remain cautious as you continue your search. What would you like to do next? In Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, the medicine skill allows you to stabilize a dying creature or provide basic medical aid. It doesn't have any specific limitations on how often you can use it in a day. However, its effectiveness may vary depending on the situation and the availability of appropriate medical supplies. In terms of healing yourself, the medicine skill alone won't restore hit points. For self-healing, you can typically rely on abilities such as spells, class features, or items that specifically grant healing. Clerics, for example, have access to spells like Cure Wounds that allow them to heal themselves and others. It's important to refer to your character's specific abilities and spells to determine the limitations and options for self-healing. Additionally, you can use hit dice during a short rest to regain hit points if you have any remaining. If you have any further questions or need clarification, feel free to ask. Understood. As you continue your search for the missing adventurers, you shift your approach to a more stealthy and quiet demeanor. Moving with caution, you take care to minimize any noise and disturbances that might give away your presence. Roll a stealth check to determine how successful you are in maintaining stealth and moving quietly through the forest. With a roll of 9, you make a concerted effort to move quietly through the forest. However, despite your best intentions, there are occasional slips and rustling of foliage that create subtle sounds. Though they might not be immediately noticeable, they could potentially alert nearby creatures or individuals to your presence if they are perceptive enough. As you continue on, it's important to remain vigilant and maintain your focus on staying as silent as possible. Be prepared for potential encounters and stay attuned to any signs or sounds that could indicate the presence of others. What would you like to do next? Continuing your search for the missing adventurers, you press on through the forest, despite the occasional noise that may have been made. Your determination remains unwavering as you follow the trail, hoping it will lead you closer to your objective. After some time, you come across another clearing. This one appears larger than the previous one and shows signs of more recent activity. The ground is disturbed, and there are indications of a struggle. A few broken weapons and torn pieces of fabric litter the area. Roll an investigation check to carefully examine the surroundings and gather any information that may shed light on what transpired here and the fate of the missing adventurers. With a roll of 8, you carefully inspect the area for any clues or information regarding the missing adventurers. However, despite your best efforts, the signs left behind are vague and difficult to interpret. The broken weapons and torn fabric don't offer much insight into what happened or where the adventurers might have gone. It's possible that the struggle was intense, causing the evidence to be scattered and ambiguous. You can't discern any specific details or patterns from the limited information available in this clearing. Considering the situation, you might need to explore further or consider alternative approaches to uncover more substantial leads. What would you like to do next? With your determination undeterred, you meticulously search the area surrounding the clearing, hoping to uncover additional clues that could shed light on the fate of the missing adventurers. You carefully scan the ground, examine the nearby trees, and check for any other signs of disturbance. Roll another investigation check to see if you can find any hidden or overlooked clues that might provide more information about what transpired here. With an investigation roll of 18, your careful and thorough search pays off. As you meticulously comb through the area, your keen eye spots something glinting amidst the underbrush. Upon closer inspection, you discover a small, blood-stained piece of fabric caught on a branch. It bears the distinct emblem of the village from which the adventurers hail. The bloodstains suggest that someone might have been injured during the struggle. Following the direction in which the fabric points, you notice faint footprints leading deeper into the forest. It seems that you've found a more promising lead. The footprints offer a potential path to follow, potentially leading you to the missing adventurers or at least to more information about their whereabouts. What would you like to do next? Following the faint footprints that you discovered, you carefully tread the path they reveal. The footprints lead you deeper into the forest, weaving through dense undergrowth and occasionally becoming harder to discern. However, your persistence pays off as the footprints become more pronounced and lead you to a narrow trail that seems to have been recently traversed. As you continue along the trail, you notice signs of a struggle, a few broken branches, disturbed leaves, and even a discarded piece of equipment. The evidence suggests that a skirmish occurred here, possibly involving the missing adventurers. Roll a perception check to observe any further signs or details that might aid in your investigation and provide more insight into what transpired. Despite your efforts to keenly observe your surroundings, you are unable to spot any further signs or details along the trail. The dense foliage and the fading light make it challenging to pick up on any additional clues that may be present. However, you can still follow the trail left by the footprints, which remains the most promising lead at the moment. It continues deeper into the forest, beckoning you to uncover the truth behind the missing adventurers. As you press on, it's important to stay alert and prepared for any potential encounters or obstacles that may lie ahead. What would you like to do next? You approach the discarded piece of equipment with curiosity, hoping to gain further insight into the situation. Upon closer inspection, you find a broken and bloodied sword, abandoned on the forest floor. It seems to have been recently used in combat, judging by the fresh bloodstains and the fractured blade. Examining the sword more closely, you notice that it bears a distinct mark, an engraving of a crest that matches the emblem of the missing adventurers' village. This confirms that it indeed belongs to one of them. The sight of the bloodied sword raises concerns about the well-being of the missing adventurers. It suggests that they might have faced a formidable foe or encountered a perilous situation. With this new information, you can continue following the trail with a renewed sense of urgency, hoping to find the adventurers and provide assistance if needed. What would you like to do next? With a renewed sense of purpose and concern for the missing adventurers, you diligently track the footprints that continue along the trail. As you move forward, the footprints become more distinct and easier to follow, leading you deeper into the forest. The trail takes you through a thicket of trees, over rocky terrain, and across a small stream. The footprints appear to be heading towards a dense part of the forest, where the foliage becomes thicker and the sunlight struggles to penetrate the canopy above. As you press on, roll a survival check to ensure you maintain your bearings and continue following the footprints accurately. Despite your best efforts to stay on track, the dense foliage and challenging terrain make it difficult to maintain a clear sense of direction. The footprints become fainter and more sporadic, making it harder to follow their trail with certainty. You find yourself in a momentary pause, uncertain about which path to take next. The dense forest around you seems to swallow any trace of the footprints, leaving you at a crossroads. In this situation, you have a few options. You could try to retrace your steps and search for any signs of the footprints resurfacing. Alternatively, you could attempt to climb a nearby tree or find a vantage point to gain a better view of the surroundings. What would you like to do next? You approach a sturdy tree nearby, its branches reaching towards the sky. With a determined mindset, you start to ascend the tree, seeking a vantage point that may provide a better view of your surroundings and potentially help you locate the continuation of the footprints. Roll an athletics check to determine how successful you are in climbing the tree and reaching a suitable vantage point. With an athletics roll of 11. You manage to climb the tree, albeit with some effort. Gripping the branches tightly and carefully maneuvering your way up, you find yourself perched on a sturdy limb that offers a decent vantage point. From this elevated position, you scan the area, searching for any signs of the footprints or other landmarks that could guide you in the right direction. The thick foliage of the forest makes it challenging to see far, but you manage to catch a glimpse of a faint trail continuing ahead, partially hidden by shrubbery. Using your keen perception, you estimate the general direction of the trail and begin your descent from the tree. It's time to resume your pursuit, following the newly discovered path and hoping it leads you closer to the missing adventurers. What would you like to do next? Based on the position of the sun and the lighting conditions within the forest, it appears to be mid-afternoon. The rays of sunlight filter through the canopy, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. However, the dense foliage overhead does limit the amount of direct sunlight reaching the ground, resulting in a slightly dimmer ambience. It's worth noting that the forest environment can create variations in lighting, with patches of brighter and darker areas depending on the density of the trees and the presence of clearings. With this understanding of the time of day, you can proceed with your adventure accordingly. Making your way down from the tree, you confidently head towards the faint trail you spotted from your vantage point. As you approach, you notice that the trail becomes more defined, indicating that it is likely the continuation of the footprints you were following. Navigating through the thick underbrush and pushing aside low-hanging branches, you follow the trail deeper into the forest. The sounds of rustling leaves and the occasional bird's song accompany your journey, while the cool shade provided by the towering trees offers respite from the warmth of the day. Continue along the trail, remaining vigilant for any signs or further clues that may lead you to the missing adventurers. Remember to stay aware of your surroundings and prepared for any potential encounters or obstacles that may arise. What would you like to do as you continue on the trail? As you continue along the trail, your eyes remain alert for any signs or indications of the missing adventurers. The path winds through the forest, occasionally opening up into small clearings or narrowing between clusters of trees. Roll a perception check to see if you spot any notable features, landmarks, or clues. With a perception roll of 17, your keen senses pick up on several noteworthy details as you traverse the trail. You notice a series of broken branches and trampled undergrowth, indicating recent disturbance in the area. Additionally, you catch a glimpse of a torn piece of fabric snagged on a thorny bush, which appears to match the style of clothing worn by the missing adventurers. Further ahead, you come across an abandoned campsite. The remains of a small fire pit, discarded food wrappers, and a few personal items are scattered about. It seems as though someone hastily left the campsite, leaving behind these belongings. Examining the campsite, you notice footprints leading away in a particular direction, veering off the main trail. It's a promising lead that suggests the missing adventurers may have departed from this point. Based on the evidence you've gathered, you can decide whether to follow the footprints away from the main trail or continue along the original path. You take a closer look at the personal items left behind at the abandoned campsite. Among the scattered belongings, you find a tattered journal, a worn-out backpack, and a half-empty water canteen. The journal seems to have endured the elements, its pages slightly wrinkled and smeared with dirt. Flipping through its worn pages, you discover the writings of one of the missing adventurers. The entries speak of their journey through the forest, detailing encounters with various creatures and the challenges they faced. The last few entries mention a growing sense of unease and a growing urgency to find a way out of the forest. Inspecting the backpack, you find some essential supplies, such as a few rations, a length of rope, and a small vial of healing ointment. The canteen still holds some water, which may prove useful during your journey. These abandoned personal items provide valuable insight into the experiences and struggles of the missing adventurers. It reinforces the urgency of your search and the need to find them before further harm befalls them. Having examined the personal items, you now have a decision to make. Will you follow the footprints leading away from the campsite or continue along the original path? You gather the useful items left behind at the abandoned campsite, including the rations, robe, vial of healing ointment, water canteen, and journal. The rations consist of 3 days' worth of food, providing sustenance for you during your journey. With these additional supplies added to your inventory, you now have rations, 3 days' worth, robe, vial of healing ointment, water canteen, half full, journal. These items may prove valuable in sustaining yourself and potentially aiding you in your quest to find the missing adventurers. As you prepare to continue your search, remember to keep track of your inventory and use your resources wisely. Is there anything else you would like to do or examine before deciding whether to follow the footprints or continue along the original path? Apologies for the confusion. You retrieve the rope instead of the robe from the abandoned campsite. The rope can be a versatile tool, useful for various purposes such as climbing, securing objects, or creating makeshift traps. To summarize, your updated inventory includes rations, 3 days' worth, robe, vial of healing ointment, water canteen, half full, journal. Please let me know what you would like to do next or if there's anything else you would like to investigate before making a decision on your path forward. Exclamation mark. Something seems to have gone wrong. With the newly acquired supplies and the journal in hand, you decide to follow the footprints leading away from the abandoned campsite. The footprints appear to be fresh and offer a promising lead in your search for the missing adventurers. As you follow the footprints, they guide you deeper into the forest, taking you off the main trail and into denser foliage. The sounds of nature surround you, with the rustling of leaves underfoot and the occasional chirping of birds above. Roll a survival check to see how well you can track the footprints and maintain your direction as you navigate through the forest. Was this response better or worse? Better, worse, same. With the newly acquired supplies and the journal in hand, you decide to follow the footprints leading away from the abandoned campsite. Despite your best efforts, the dense undergrowth and the passage of time make it increasingly difficult to track the footprints accurately. The forest floor becomes littered with fallen leaves and branches, obscuring the path ahead. You find yourself losing sight of the footprints, making it challenging to determine the adventurer's exact direction. The trail seems to vanish, and you find yourself standing amidst a thick cluster of trees. It appears that you have temporarily lost track of the footprints, leaving you uncertain about which way to proceed. You take a moment to retrace your steps, carefully backtracking along the path you followed to reach the cluster of trees. As you move backward, you keep a keen eye out for any signs of the footprints you were following. Roll a perception check to see if you spot any hints or traces of the footprints as you retrace your path through the forest. With a natural 20 on your perception check, your sharp eyes catch the faintest hint of the footprints you were tracking. You notice a slight disturbance in the undergrowth, a barely discernible impression on the forest floor, and a broken twig that appears to have been stepped on. Following these subtle signs, you confidently navigate your way back to where you temporarily lost track of the footprints. With your exceptional perception, you manage to pick up the trail once more and continue your pursuit of the missing adventurers. Now that you're back on track, you can proceed with renewed determination. The footprints lead you deeper into the forest, and you press on, determined to find the lost companions. Is there anything else you would like to do or investigate as you follow the trail? As the Dungeon Master, I have been keeping track of the details of your character, Gildrov, the Hill Dwarf Cleric. Here's a summary of what we have established so far. Name, Gilder of Race, Hill Dwarf Class, Cleric Level. 1 Equipment, Heavy Armor, One-Handed Mace, Shield, Short Sword, acquired from the Goblin, Spells. Guiding Bolt, Cure Wounds, already expended for the day, Abilities, Cantrip, Mending, Inventory. Rations, 3 days worth, Rope, Vial of Healing Ointment, Water Canteen, Half full. Journal. Gildrov has displayed bravery and determination in his search for the missing adventurers, battling goblins and exploring the forest. He has faced some challenges, sustained injuries, and made strategic choices in combat. Please let me know if there's anything specific you would like to ask or clarify about your character or any other aspect of the game. Certainly. Thank you for providing a detailed description of Gildrov. Here is an expanded description of your character. Gildrov is a stout and muscular hill dwarf, standing at 4 feet 5 inches tall and weighing around 150 pounds. His stocky build and sturdy frame reflect his dwarven heritage and resilience. He carries himself with a confident and determined demeanor, a testament to his adventurous spirit. Gildrov's appearance is marked by his long, fiery red hair, partially braided to keep it out of his face during intense battles. His beard, which reaches his chest, is also of the same vibrant shade. The red hair and beard stand out prominently against his fair skin and complement his expressive, piercing blue eyes. Though relatively young at 30 years old, Gildrof's face shows signs of wisdom and experience gained from his travels and encounters. Dressed in heavy armor, Gildrof's attire is practical and functional, designed to protect him in battle. His chosen weapons, a one-handed mace and a shield, are always at the ready. He carries himself with a sense of purpose and dedication to his calling as a cleric, exemplifying the values of his faith. With this description in mind, Gildrof continues his quest, a striking figure amidst the adventure and dangers that lie ahead. Let me know if there's anything else you would like to add or any specific actions you'd like to take. Certainly. You can pause the game for tonight and resume it whenever you're ready. As an ongoing narrative, Dungeons & Dragons campaigns can be played over multiple sessions, allowing for breaks between sessions. You can simply pick up where you left off, continuing the story of Gildrof's quest to find the missing adventurers. Feel free to reach out whenever you're ready to continue the game, and I'll be here to guide you through the next leg of your adventure. Have a great time exploring and uncovering the mysteries that await you.